It's the 4th of July, everybody. We celebrate our independence from British rule, who we kicked out of this country for having a totalitarian or a king. We remember those that fought for our independence, that gained our freedoms, that the Supreme Court recently has tried to take away all of. Uh, and we also sit back and remember 5 years ago, on that infamous day, when 8 months after the Republicans attacked our election, literally trying to overturn our election results and attacking our country in the 21st century method of how Japan attacked us during Pearl Harbor, 8 Republicans decided that it would be a swell idea to go and to the Kremlin and kiss Vladimir Putin's ass. Yes, on our 4th of July. You may have forgotten that. It's the 5-year anniversary. John Thune in Republican leadership, Senator Hoeven from North Dakota, or Hoeven, who the hell cares, Granger, who is just a lowly congresswoman, and I say that only because all the others were senators, Jerry Moran from Kansas, John Kennedy who should never be allowed to have that name, by the way, ever, from Louisiana, a major one, Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, who's up for reelection this year and must lose, and of course returned home to repeat every Russian talking point you can imagine, from anti-vaxx statements about how vaccines were more dangerous than COVID, to pushing culture war, to pushing Republican talking points about Joe Biden. In other words, a guy who's done everything he can to undermine and destroy the United States from within, a true traitor who must lose this next election. I'm going to forget a few. So who else was there on this nice, fun trip? I got Kennedy. Did I get Jerry Moran of Kansas? He was there. Hey, you know what? I may have gotten them all. I'm kind of impressed with myself. Oh no, Richard Shelby was there from Alabama, and Steve Daines from Montana, who I believe is running for his seat again. That's somebody who may not want to actually win a Senate seat, considering he's owned by Vladimir Putin. All these people have never given an explanation for why. 8 months after the Russians, according to 16 different intelligence reports and reports from numerous intelligence agencies abroad, all of those who showed the collusion between Donald Trump and the Russians, from Donald Trump Jr. meeting with them in Trump Tower, to Paul Manafort sharing polling with one of the oligarchs, Kilminnick, who passed it on to Putin, to the numerous other hangers-on who were indicted and convicted, Gates and Flynn and the rest, for dealing with Russia, for trying to undermine our Ukraine policy, which of course has now come back and helped lead to the Russian attack on Ukraine and an attempted, if not an outright, genocide. We still have not gotten an explanation. What were these 8 traitors doing? What were they doing? Why were they in Russia on the 4th of July of all days? It's exactly the kind of thing that a despotic leader like Putin would make them do, just to humiliate them and show his control over them. What does he have on them? Why were they there? What did they come back to do? Why did they return? Ron Johnson was the worst of all, but the rest of them came back to repeat Russian talking points about the Democrats, about the United States of America, about NATO, to help undermine the NATO alliance, and to help enable Putin's attack of Ukraine, which was always one of the goals. We should be asking these questions 5 years later as vociferously as we were asking them back then. They literally could decide the future of our republic. How many of these senators, how many of these members of Congress, how many other Republicans are flat out owned by despots like Putin and China, hi Mitch McConnell, and Erdogan, hi Michael Flynn, and Mehmet Oz? Worth knowing. Besides that, happy 4th of July. Let's make sure there's another 4th of July next year where we're still independent and these guys haven't destroyed our country.